Hey y'all, welcome back to Photography 101 with me, Megan, at eat.live.make. Last week we talked about operating your DSLR, just the basic operations and understanding white balance. I hope it was really beneficial for all of you. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to contact me or leave a comment. Today we're going to be talking about our ISO. The cool thing about your ISO is that it is totally the easiest thing to understand in your exposure triangle. So we've got ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. So today we're going to be talking about ISO. And like I said last week, as you're playing around with it, this week you can you can still do it on auto and just practice adjusting your white balance and your ISO. It'll adjust for your aperture and your shutter speed accordingly. Okay, so like I said, I've got a professional grade camera. Most of you will probably have an entry-level DSLR, which is great, but the functions are a little differently. On the entry-level camera, and you may want to consult with your user manual to understand this better, but you should be able to go to Menu right here and then scroll down with these buttons to get to your ISO. I think the lowest it'll go is 100 and the highest it'll go is either 800 or 1600. On mine, if you have a camera like I do, my ISO is found here, which is so convenient. So I press my ISO button and see 200 pops up. And with my thumb on this little dial right here, I can change it to, however high or low I want it to be. But normally I keep mine at about 200. With the light, with the natural light I do. If it's in darker situations, I of course would have it higher. And just so you know, I'm reading some notes off, so I might not always be focusing directly on you. But just wanted to make sure I had everything covered. Okay, so like I said, a high ISO around 1600 is on entry-level cameras, and professional quality cameras can go up to about 12,000 or higher, which is crazy. They can gather, a high ISO can gather light in darker situations. So basically, the different ISO numbers affect the different light gathering capabilities of your camera. If I wanted to take a photo, say, of my cousin at a concert, he plays the piano, he's really good, in a darkly lit room, I'd crank up my ISO anywhere from 800 to 1600 depending on how dark it was. But if I was shooting at the beach with my family and it was really sunny outside, I'd want to move my ISO down to 100 or 200. Because if I cranked it up higher, the image would be totally whited out. But as you're thinking about this, there's something else to keep in mind. In any given situation, you want to shoot in the lowest ISO that you can. So if I'm at my cousin's concert and 1600 looks great, but I think, I could probably bump it down to 1000, my ISO down to 1000. I'd want to put it to 1000 because if I wanted to blow up that picture and make it big, it would have a lot of noise in it and be kind of grainy. It wouldn't be extremely clear. I hope that makes sense. ISO is different than aperture or shutter speed because it doesn't affect the depth of field or the image blur. It only affects how much light your camera gathers, which is great. Great thing to learn at first because both aperture and shutter speed will affect that, but their main priorities are depth of field and light and image like blur and stabilization. And I said, you want to keep your ISO as low as you can, or your image won't translate well when you blow it up. And I think that is all the notes that I have on that subject, just to re-go, there's a lot of information really fast. So your ISO controls the amount of light that your camera gathers. And personally, I keep mine at about 200, but the other night I wanted to take pictures of the fort that we built for Valentine's Day, so I cranked mine up to about 800, and the pictures looked a lot better. I've got some examples of Dakota, again, down below in the same shot with the same settings on my camera. I didn't adjust anything. I just changed the ISO so that you can see how a higher ISO affects a picture versus a lower ISO. I hope that is really helpful for you. Next week we'll be talking about aperture, which is really exciting. If you have any questions about this, I feel like this is kind of mumble jumbled, but hopefully it was helpful and beneficial for you. I hope y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next week.